This morning I want to talk, for the offering, I want to talk about a reflection of heart. Because the way that we handle our finances is a reflection of what is in our hearts. I can ask you to close your eyes, and I can ask you to imagine what you would do if I handed you 10 million rand right now. And the fact of the matter is, you could come up with a lot of things, and a lot of people would say, yes, I'm going to go and I'm going to bless the church. I want to tell you, if you're not busy doing it right now, then you're not going to do it when you've got plenty. Because money amplifies what is in the heart. Whatever you believe gets amplified. Your character gets displayed by what is by your money. Now, Jesus said in Matthew 22:37, of course, the Pharisee asked him, what is the biggest commandment? And I remind you that as we read through this, Jesus was summarizing the law. Now, the law was fulfilled in him. So, just a disclaimer before I say the rest. But Jesus replied to him, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and your intellect. So, the expectation is there from God that as we worship Him, our hearts are in it. And so the question is, where's your heart? And what would the way that you would be spending your resources on at this point in time, what would that reflect about your heart? Because, Jesus came and He fulfilled this, but now He lives in me, and so now I can be surrendered. Through Him, in me, I can be surrendered, and I can love God with all of my heart, and I can love God with all of my soul, and I can love God with all of my mind. All right, so Proverbs 27:18 puts it like this: whoever tends the fig tree shall eat its fruit. Now, the fig tree is a symbol of your own works. If you insist on having, so why is it a symbol of your works? Let's just first and foremost look at that. The moment that Adam and Eve fell in sin, they covered themselves with fig leaves. We see later that when Jesus comes by the fig tree and He was expecting figs, then there weren't any figs. He cursed the tree, the fig tree died. Why? Because it's a reference to own works. It's a reference to own efforts. And even when it comes to finances, it is God that gives you power to be wealthy. It's God that gives power for you to be in control of the situation. But if you tend the fig tree, you shall eat the fruit of the fig tree. If you're going to go after own efforts, then it's always going to be from your own efforts that you have to sustain yourself. But so he who patiently and faithfully guards and heeds his master, he shall be honored. Now, Jesus told us that we are built with the capacity to worship, every human being. And you can take a look at that. It doesn't matter your nationality, it doesn't matter your religion, it doesn't matter where you live on earth, you are worshipping something. Or someone. If you know God, then you're worshipping Him. But everybody, everywhere is worshipping something. So, but we've also been given the ability to serve one master. You can worship one person. So it's either God or it's mammon. And so it's either His way or it's the fruits of the fig tree. And we get to choose. Now, Proverbs continues, says, as in water, face answers to and reflects face. Or we could say, if you look in a mirror, you will see what is reflected, the reality of who you are. In the same way, the heart of man to man. So the heart of man displays who the man is. Your heart displays your character. And the money amplifies what's in your heart. This is not something that is new, and it's something that even the secular world has picked up on. Will Smith has said, money and success don't change people, they merely amplify what is already there. So it's not even only biblical wisdom, the world has already picked up on it as well. And so the encouragement that we need to take, or the advice that God gives, is that we should keep and guard our hearts with all vigilance, and above all that we guard, for from it flow the springs of life. In other words, the revelation of your character is important. It's got a knock-on effect on how you're going to be perceived in life and how you're going to experience life. It is a reflection of your heart. It's a reflection of your heart. And therefore, Jesus taught on this because God put a system in place that can develop a pure heart. He put the system in place that can show us what is in our hearts, so that we can take that which is bad to Him so that He can change it. And this is the way He says. He says, gather and heap up and store for yourselves treasures in heaven. Why? Well, so where neither moth nor rust nor worm consumes and destroys, and where thieves do not break through and steal. But gather and heap up and store for yourselves treasures in heaven. Why? For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. But then it necessarily means that if my heart is going to be where my treasure is, but the heart reflects the man of reflects man like face reflects in water, or water reflects face, then it means that how I go about my treasure and how I work with my treasures, be it time, be it energy, be it financial resources, it's going to reflect the character. Now, and you can say, it's not the case. I'm going to ask you to think about 3 kings. So there's Saul, there's David, there's Solomon, the 3 first kings of Israel. All 3 of them kings, all 3 of them access to all of the power, all of the resources, all of the time that they can desire. Stuff we dream about. Saul spends it on vengeance. He spends it on hunting down an anointed man of God whom he believes is his rival. That's what he poured money into. Why? Because money is a reflection of your heart. It amplifies your character. That was what was in Saul's heart. So that is what came out when he became king. David is a man after God's heart. So it's no surprise that he spent his time and his resources gathering what was needed to build the temple. Because it was in his heart, it was his character, and it was amplified in his heart. His son Solomon after him came and built the temple. So he started off well. But it wasn't long after that, because before what was in his heart was amplified, and what was in his heart was self. So yes, he built the temple, then he built himself a lavish palace. He lived a lavish lifestyle. He went after women in a big way. He neglected his relationship with God. Why? Because money is a reflection of your heart. So the safeguard here is to gather up and store in heaven. It's a safeguard that can help you to develop the character that we need to reflect God for who He is, not for who we are. And then there's the promise that if we delight ourselves in the Lord, He will give us the desires of our heart. And the secret petitions of your heart. And I especially like that. He's talking about those places in your heart that you don't even know you want something. Chanel tells a story of, it was a little bit of a fly-by thought that her husband should be able to play a guitar. But God cares about the detail. He cares about the secret petitions of your heart. I mean, I had a not-so-secret petition of the heart that we would be crowned the champions. I think it's important for this country that we remain champions. I think it builds this nation. But He grants the petitions of the heart. And so commit your way to the Lord and roll and repose each care of your load on Him. He cares for us. He knows what you need. And then trust on, rely on, and be confident also in Him, and He will bring it to pass. Whatever it is that you need brought to pass, whatever it is that you are trusting for this morning, you can rest in the fact that He knows what you need. But what is your heart reflecting? What is your resources showing about your character? So store up treasures in heaven. I'm going to give you an opportunity to give, and bless you as you do so.